In the early days of baseball, when players traveled by train and legends were born in dusty ballparks, few pitchers were as unforgettable as Mordecai "Three-Finger" Brown. His story is one of talent, resilience, and a hand forever marked by fate. This is the life of a man who turned misfortune into greatness. Mordecai Peter Centennial Brown was born on October 19, 1876 in the small town of Niceville, Indiana. At just 5 years old, a devastating accident altered his life forever. He was feeding material into a feed chopper when he slipped and the blades mangled his fingers. As a result, he lost much of his index finger and damaged the others. Worse, even while still healing the following year, he took a fall and broke several finger bones. They were not reset properly, especially the middle finger. The result was his fingers were at permanent odd angles. But like most kids during that time, he loved baseball. Over time, Brown learned that with his unusual grip, he could spin a baseball like no one else. His pitches broke sharply and unpredictably, leaving batters baffled. He could throw a curveball and a nasty changeup. The extra topspin made it difficult for batters to connect solidly, and they often hit only the top of the ball. Brown began his semi-professional career in 1898 as a third baseman. One day, the pitcher didn't show up, and he took the mound. Everyone immediately noticed the extra spin of Brown's pitches. Still, it took a while before he debuted in the majors. In 1903, he debuted for the St. Louis Cardinals at 26 years old, which was late even for that time. Yet Brown struggled to a 9-13 record with a 2.6 ERA and 83 strikeouts. The following season, the Chicago Cubs bought his contract and his dominance began. From 1904 to 1912, Brown won 20 or more games 6 times and was part of 2 World Series championships. His ability to induce ground balls played to the strength of the Cubs. The legendary infield defense of Tinker to Evers to Chance backed up Brown's pitching. In 1906, Brown became the anchor of one of the greatest pitching rotations of all time. Brown's 1.04 ERA that season remains one of the best in baseball history. 7 pitchers had an ERA below 2.0, and the rest had an ERA below 3.0. The Cubs won 116 games, a record that still stands today. However, the Cubs met the Chicago White Sox in the World Series that year and lost 4 games to 2. In 1907 and 1908, Brown helped lead the Cubs to back-to-back World Series appearances against Ty Cobb and the Detroit Tigers. The Cubs won both the series, but wouldn't win another until 2016. One of the strangest moments in baseball history defined the 1908 season. Fred Merkle's base-running mistake nullified a run which forced a 1-game playoff between the Cubs and the Giants. In probably the most pressure-filled game of his career, Brown outpitched Christy Mathewson, sending the Cubs to the World Series. Perhaps nothing defined his career more than his rivalry with Mathewson, the ace of the New York Giants. During this period, both men staked a claim as the best pitcher in the National League. Adding to the drama was the brewing intense rivalry between the New York Giants and the Cubs. In the end, Brown would have a slight win over his rival. They met 25 times with Brown winning 13, Mathewson 11, and 1 no decision. In 1912, the Cubs released then 36-year-old Brown. He joined the Cincinnati Reds, finishing with an 11-12 record, 6 saves, and a 2.91 ERA. The following season, he joined the new Federal League and pitched for 3 teams in 2 years: the Chicago Whales, the St. Louis Terriers, and the Brooklyn Tip-Tops. In the Federal League, he had a 31-19 record, 208 strikeouts, 4 saves, and a 2.80 ERA. In 1916, Brown returned to the Cubs for his final season. In the last game of both men's careers, Brown and Mathewson squared off on September 4th. 1916. By then Mathewson had left the Giants and had moved to the Cincinnati Reds. Both the Cubs and Reds were also out of the pennant race. In a high-scoring game, the Reds beat the Cubs 10-8. Brown finished his major league career with a 239-130 record, 1375 strikeouts, 49 saves, a whip of 1.066, and a 2.06 ERA. His ERA is the best in MLB history for any pitcher with over 200 wins. Mordecai Brown died on February 14, 1948. He was 71. The following year, he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Mordecai Three-Finger Brown was a legend shaped by fate and determination. His story reminds us that greatness can come from the most unexpected places, even from a hand that wasn't whole. Thank you for watching. Can you think of another player who had to overcome such adversity and still dominate? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing. It helps immensely.